Look, she's right next to me. She would not leave me alone. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Hey, Chunk. You've been very cuddly today.
Yeah. I am out of it. I'm so tired. Take the makeup off. Welcome and welcome back, crafters and sewers. My name is Dream and thank you for clicking on this video. Today we'll be making a full-length bodysuit. It goes past my ankles and is also long sleeves. It has a zipper in the front that doesn't go all the way down. I really like this suit because it fits really nicely. I'd say the most difficult part of this after the zipper is just drafting the pattern. It's very easy. It's only a couple of pieces to put together and it just comes out looking so nice. I loved it so much and I plan on making more if I can find that material that I have in my head. So let's get right into it. I do want to talk a little bit about how I made the pattern. What I've done with previous videos is just lay the garments that I like, so a shirt usually and some t-shirt or some shorts, and I lay them onto the fabric and then I mark with chalk and I cut out that figure. What I did this time was I did take the two pieces of fabric or the two pieces of clothing that I liked, and instead of laying it directly on my fabric, I made a pattern from it. I used some packing paper. It's not drafting paper, it's not pattern paper, it's just packing paper. For me it works okay to make patterns that are going to last a lot longer. So yeah. What I did, the changes that I needed to make, not so much with the neckline, but with the armholes. So if you have been sewing, if you've drafted patterns before, if you had to adjust things, you know that if the armholes don't work, you have to basically start over. So I wanted those to be worked nicely. The t-shirt that I used to make the pattern, I liked the fit of the t-shirt, but the sleeves were just so tight against my armpits. They were very, very close. And I didn't like that, so I knew I had to extend it downward. If you're going to extend the armhole downward, then you have to cut out a completely different sleeve. If I'm trying to, trace a pattern out and make a change that big to the armhole, which still is not a serious change, it wasn't very complicated to do, but if you're just doing it freehand, you can't really, it's not as easy to do that. So it's better to have the piece like that, the armholes, and have it done from the front and the back, and then move on to making the sleeve for it. I like that better anyway because I plan on making a mesh crop top with just the sleeves and the top part, another crop top where I just make short sleeves, and I have some other stretch fabric. I'm trying to decide on whether or not I want to put a zipper in those. So having this pattern is actually really helpful to make future patterns and future garments with those. So now that I'm finished with that, I can get into showing you more of the process of how I made it. So I really like this fabric that I got. The snakeskin is I just love it. It's so cute. So what I'm doing right here is I'm folding each of the edges towards the center. That is usually my method if I'm not told a different type of way to cut out the pattern pieces. Then this is usually the method I use that can help me to use the most of the fabric that I have and have very little to no leftovers. What I'm doing is I place the front and back pieces onto the fabric. I got them cut too short. I got two 1.5 yard long pieces and I should have gotten a full 2 or 3 yard piece. That way I could get the whole full piece that goes past my ankles. The front and back pieces that you see here go just below my knees. That's where they stop. I'll have another piece that goes from below my knees to past my ankles. That's to help remedy that problem of me not getting my fabric cut long enough. I'm not really showing the process of me combining those pieces or cutting out those pieces because if you have the fabric long enough or if you're just making a shorter bodysuit, you don't even have to follow that step. After you cut out the front and back pieces and the sleeves, I moved on to the collar. To get the collar, what I did was I traced the neckline of the back onto a piece of packing paper like I did for the rest, marked 2 inches up, and then added a slight slant where the seams would be, plus seam allowance all the way around. Front, very similar, except I cut 4 pieces instead of 2. That way there's space to add for the zipper. After I have all the pieces cut out, I combine the back 2 pieces together by just serging down the back. If you don't have a serger, it's fine to just use a regular sewing machine. A straight stitch will honestly work fine. These are the bottom part of the legs, and I'm just combining them to the bottom part of the back and to the bottom parts of the front. Again, if you cut a shorter bodysuit or if you cut a nice long piece of fabric, you don't even have to worry about this step. After the back 2 pieces are sewn together, I place the front 2 pieces right sides together, and I mark the edge of the zipper with a pin, and I'm going to sew down the crotch seam, as you can see where I have pins already placed. I remove those pins because it's going to be serged. I just wanted to add the zipper does not go up into the collar, it just stays on the body piece, so I don't have the collar added at this point. This part I very highly recommend. You do not have to do, but I greatly recommend it. After the front part is sewn from the crotch seam, you fold out the rest of the seam and you iron it flat. That way it makes the pinning process much easier and the sewing process much easier. I'm pretty sure if you're used to sewing in zippers, you do this all the time, but sometimes I try to skip this step and I end up regretting it. Just to be honest, on this outfit, it took me a very long time to complete the zipper. If I were to make it for someone else, I'd probably redo this part completely. But since I was making it for myself, I just redid it to where it looked very nice on the outside. The inside doesn't look so great. Once the zipper is completely inserted, I check to make sure it unzips and zips properly, doesn't get caught on anything. And then I'm starting on the shoulder seams. I learned a very cool trick from Instagram, actually, about how to strengthen shoulder seams on stretch knit fabrics. I use ribbon. If I were you, I would use a ribbon that was probably about a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch thick, depending on your machine. And I cut a piece a little longer than the seam. And what I do is I feed it through my serger, allow the serger to cut the ribbon, and it strengthens the seam. At this point, I still have my sewing machine out. I'm not quite done with it yet because I am going to hem the sleeves. The way I hem the sleeves is nothing that I was taught. I don't think it's the proper way to hem when you have a serger, but it's the way that works the best for me. So what I do is I serge the raw end of the hem that I'm trying to do. I fold it over and then I zigzag stitch it down. This I do for stretch knits. So I do that on both the sleeves before I do anything to the sleeves. I iron the hem to make sure it's nice and even. That way when I close up the sleeves, it's already done. Here I'm folding the sleeve in half so that I can find the center, place the center of the sleeves, match it up with the seams, and start at the center and work my way down each side to attach the sleeves. So it's hard to keep all of this on the stand. Don't quite have this set up yet, but what I'm doing now is I'm going to line up the armpits. My usual thing, if you've seen me made a top or a dress before, then you know what I'm about to do next. I'm going to serge down to the end of the sleeve, which has already been hemmed, and then serge down the side. This is just where the bottom connects because I couldn't finish it. And what I'm going to do after these are connected is hem it just like the sleeves. So I'm going to serge the end, fold it up, iron it, and then do a zigzag stitch. And then we're going to work on the crotch seam, but I'll show that next. It is coming together so nicely. I love it. So everything's done up. One quick thing I did with the zipper is I just cut the tabs into diagonals. If you want to do this, what you can do before you sew it on is use a lighter to flame this part, and it'll melt it so that it's still nice and solid. You don't have to worry about it unraveling, but for the most part I think it should be fine like this. So everything's done. The bottom has been serged and hemmed the same way as the sleeves. I do a zigzag stitch, and then I serge the side first, and then I did a zigzag stitch. Then we're going to match up these two seams for the center front and the center back. The seams on the side, which if you cut this one piece, you don't even have these seams. And then of course the bottoms line up. And then we're going to serge starting up here and going down to the sides and just doing the end seams. Once that's finished, we're gonna work on the collar. And at this point, if you need any adjustments to make, a lot of times I have to make adjustments on the sides. Now is the time. I like to do that so that when I'm done with the collar, I'm completely done. As you can see previously, I have 4 front pieces and 2 back pieces. I attached them at the seams. Now I take the 2 identical pieces, I lay them right sides together, and I'm going to serge right across the top to make the one piece to attach to the garment. Forgot to record the pinning process because I got carried away, but I just did the one side, as you saw, the zigzag stitch is not the best because I'm going to go back over and serge both layers down, as you can see here. I pinned it just to make sure everything's in place, but I'm going to remove the pins before they get to the blade. This area has been folded inward, but I ironed it to make sure it stays down. See here, it's coming loose a little bit. Good thing I checked. Put it in a touch more. There we go. There we go. Yep. There we go. So yeah, we're going to serge this in. Then I'm going to flip it up and iron it again so that it can stay in the same direction I want it to go. And then I'm going to straight stitch right here and tie off the loose ends. So the last part I have to do is this. I sewed this part down by hand already, and now I just have to close this gap, which I'm going to do by machine, because even though this side lines up nicely and a nice straight stitch would be good, this side was the side that entered in. And I should have known that I should go, start it from the center and work my way outward. So it's off right here. So I'm just going to sew this together by hand, just to make it look even on both sides. My cat decided to vocalize her opinions. If you made better choices than I did, then you wouldn't really be hand sewing so much at this point, but this is the end. Stay tuned for the final looks of this outfit. I really do love it, y'all. It's great. Thank you for getting this far. Thank you for watching my whole video. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope I was very clear in my instructions and how I completed this garment. So a few things that I would change. One, the big one that I probably already mentioned, is when I go buy the fabric, I just need to make sure that I buy one huge complete piece. What I did when I was purchasing this fabric at the store, I was thinking I was going to make a bodysuit that stopped right here and was long sleeves and not a full length, full leg bodysuit. My original idea was to make a bodysuit that went all the way past my ankles. For some reason, when I went to go buy the fabric, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to make that. I'm going to make something else. And I was going to make the regular bodysuit and then some leggings. So I didn't need a full piece. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to my original idea because I hate when I change my ideas. Let me stop and let me get a full length one that goes, let me make one that goes past my ankles so that I'm not out here again like, dang, I should have made it the way I originally thought. I don't like when I change my ideas past what I originally thought, because a lot of times I change it to something that I don't really like, and then my thought is I should have did what I originally planned to do. Another thing is I didn't quite make the collar correctly. I needed to bring it in a little more, like bring in each side probably about a ½ inch so that they can touch when it's up. Because my idea was like if it went up too high, then I would use, I think it's a frog tie button. One of those closure pieces so that when it's up, it can be like closed all the way up like a turtleneck, or I can have it unzipped and down. Anyway, hopefully if you follow me on social media, you will see that I will make a mesh one. I'm not doing a tutorial about it, but I'll probably make it and then do a little quick video of me making it and then show it of me making hopefully a black mesh one. I have the mesh fabric. That's the type of fabric I want, but it's not the right color. And plus that color, I plan on making something else that you will see on this channel soon. But that mesh, I want to make another one with that mesh. Exactly the same, long pants and everything, and the zipper on the front. Or I can make a dress version, but I can't really dance in the dress version. I'll make a dress version in a different color, and then the black one's going to be the long one. Bam, problem solved. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. I am extremely tired right now because I am filming too late, and I'm filming the day after I was supposed to already post this. Please like and subscribe. Please follow me on my social medias. Short Skirts _store on Instagram, and on TikTok it is Short Skirts Long Legs. I do appreciate you all watching. Again, like, subscribe, thumbs up. Appreciate it. I'll see you all next time. Thank you.